$800 one-time check for Social Security, including retirement, disability, SSDI, and Medicare beneficiaries. What they just said, and some potential good news. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. Alright, now in this video, I want to discuss some potential good news and encouraging information in regards to a one-time $800 check for about 63 million Americans who receive Social Security, retirement, disability, SSDI, and of course, Medicare beneficiaries. I want to talk about what they just said and what this means for the roughly 63 million people I just referred to, so let's get right into it. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so, and because I am your one and only daily advocate, I'm here for you right by your side every single day, watching all this new information hitting the wire, doing the necessary research, and breaking it all down into these short videos so you can stay updated with what's actually going on, and most importantly, how it's going to impact you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, your bank account, and of course, anything popping up right now you can possibly grab and or take advantage of. Of course, I want to bring that to your attention right away. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet so you don't miss any videos going forward, and also remember, I'm here for you in any way that I can be. That's my dedication, that's my commitment, and as always, that is my promise to you and everybody right here in the community. Alright, thanks again. Let's get into it and talk about what they just said and how this could potentially translate into a one-time $800 check for about 63 million Americans who need it really, 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 really badly right now. I mean, seriously, how much do we need to emphasize this? More money is needed for the low income, right? We've been saying this for a very long time now. Don't get me wrong, $800 is not going to be super life-changing for a lot of people, considering where we are right now and how long it has been since people have needed money. However, let's just say this much. I think we'll gladly take 800, right? Considering what's going on right now, I think all of us would be more than happy to take 800 versus nothing, right? So anyway, let me bring you up to speed on what's going on here. So let me quickly give you the backstory on this, because this is one of these things that's been around for quite a while, but at the same time, we continue to get little tidbits of updates every so often on this thing. And again, I want to bring you the latest details as far as what they are now talking about, which again, could potentially include this one-time $800 check. All right, so about maybe a year ago, probably about a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago. I know, it's been a very long time. This has been hanging around. So what this originally came out as is all these lawmakers wanted to come forward and include expansion to Medicare within one of these bills that they were currently working on, right? So they wanted to include hearing, dental, and vision coverage into the bill, right? Which, by the way, I'm kind of cruising through this because we've talked about this somewhat before in other videos, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. But basically, they wanted to expand Medicare to include hearing, dental, and vision coverage. Well, basically, they said, no, sorry, dental's going to be way too expensive. We're not going to add dental into the plan, so instead, we're going to give everybody a one-time $800 prepaid card. About 63 million Medicare beneficiaries would be eligible for this card, and you can use it for dental expenses. And again, we've talked about this, and as I've talked about before in other videos, how do they know that we're spending it on dental, right? Who says that we don't just go out to the local store and buy some groceries? Again, we don't really know about that. But either way, the whole idea was, instead of adding dental coverage into the Medicare expansion, they just said, let's just give everybody an $800 one-time card, and then that can be in exchange for dental, and they can use that on dental coverages, right? Like I've talked about before, good luck getting about anything done at the dentist for $800. I mean, that's not going to get you much these days, but at least it'll get you something, maybe. Anyway, beside the point. So my point is, this is what's been going on, right? So this is the whole idea behind this. Well, this kind of went on the back burner for quite a while. We didn't really hear a whole lot about it for several months. And then as of recently, the last several months here, we've been getting a few updates on this here and there, and I want to bring you up to speed on this. So we know that Bernie Sanders really, really, really wants to expand Medicare, right? He's the guy behind all of this. He's the one who basically wants Medicare to be expanded. Now, here's what they're talking about as well, and why this could potentially be good news for virtually everybody. So the latest ideas coming out of Congress yet again, and don't get me wrong, they've explored this idea a few times over the last few years, but now here it is yet again. They're now talking about Medicare for all, right? So we've heard about this before, but this is the latest, greatest idea coming out of Congress right now. Now that the new Congress is in, things like this, they're now playing around with all these new ideas, and this is the latest one, Medicare for all. And according to my understanding about this, it may actually include expansion to Medicare as well. So not only do they want to implement Medicare for all, but they also want it to include basically all these different medical expenses like dental, vision, hearing, all kinds of things like this within it, right? Well, and again, we don't know if dental would actually be covered at the end of the day because we've seen this go back and forth for, like I said, over a year now since they originally introduced this as in Medicare for all and Medicare expansion. They've been talking about how expensive dental is, right? Again, we've talked about this before in other videos. We know dental is very, very expensive, right? So not really sure if dental would make it into the final plan. However, remember, as I just talked about, the concession that they were making on removing dental would be sending out Medicare beneficiaries, again, those individuals generally who receive Social Security, retirement, SSDI, things like this, Medicare beneficiaries, about 63 million people would be included for these these one-time prepaid cards of $800, right? Now again, could it potentially still be a prepaid $800 card? It could be. Could it be a one-time $800 payment? It could be. Could it be some other form of $800 going out to the people? Yes, of course. It could be something like that. Now, again, we don't really know how they'd want to do this, but when it comes down to it, and they do actually want to expand Medicare for all, again, this would be kind of a good thing because, at the end of the day, it would be having, it would allow people that maybe don't have necessary medical coverages to all of a sudden now have medical coverage. At the same time, we've talked through all the numbers on this, and here's what it looks like. This would cost trillions of dollars over like a 10-year period of time. And I'm not talking billions of dollars. I'm talking trillions of dollars, like $3.5 trillion over the course of a few years. So it'd be very, very expensive. But at the same time, virtually everybody would then have coverage, right? Everybody would then have necessary healthcare coverages, right? But the big question would be, would dental actually be included? Now, here's the thing. Excuse me. So if dental is actually included in this Medicare for all type of situation, then guess what happens? This one-time $800 card probably wouldn't be included because remember, the whole idea behind the one-time $800 card would be in exchange for or a concession of dental in Medicare for all or Medicare expansion. So whether they actually do one of the two, number one being Medicare expansion for the current Medicare beneficiaries. Again, 63 million people, give or take a little bit. That's about how many people receive Medicare as of right now. So if they did that and they expanded Medicare to include these services, again, that'd be great for the 63 million people that draw on these benefits and that have coverages because of them. But again, we have to wonder, is it going to include all three of these, hearing, dental, and vision? If they take out dental, we already know the concession, $800, one-time card, got it. However, if they do move forward with Medicare for all, then again, we need to ask the same question. Do they add all of these medical coverages within Medicare for all, hearing, dental, and vision? If they don't add dental in, again, we know the concession. $800 card, okay? So this is what it really comes down to. But again, it all comes down to Congress, and will they actually get something done about this? We know Congress. Do we feel like they have maybe a little bit of a reputation? Well, it depends on who you ask, right? I think we all know where we all stand on this, right? They have a little bit of a reputation to maybe drag their feet on things, to maybe, talk a big game, and then all of a sudden nothing ever happens. We know that they come out with a lot of bills, a lot of packages, a lot of proposals. They have a lot of great ideas. They have a lot of promises. And then we all know that it's very often that many of these promises, the bills, the packages, the proposals, the amendments, all kinds of things like this that we all count on, a lot of times they don't make it anywhere, right? They get introduced or they get floated on, some interview somewhere, and then ultimately it never makes it to the floor, right? So we've known this. We've seen this happen time and time again over several years now. This comes as no surprise to any of us. Whether you watch politics closely or not, it doesn't really matter. You know how this works, right? You know how the game is played when it comes down to politics, right? Unfortunately, this is how they do it. I wish it was different, but unfortunately, I don't have that authority to change things, right? But this is what they're talking about as of right now. So a little glimmer of hope at some point, maybe they'll do one of the following: expand Medicare, and or if they don't do that, maybe they'll just straight up do Medicare for all. And again, that'd be a huge, huge thing. I'm going to be honest with you. If they try to work through Medicare for all it sounds to me like it's going to be a lot of kicking and screaming, a lot of drama, and probably is going to take a very long time. This is not something that they're going to get done in a week's time. This is something that's probably going to take a long, long time to go back and forth, to probably set it aside for a while, come back to it, revisit it, talk through the details. It's going to be one of these things that's going to be years probably in the making. So when it comes down to this one-time $800 card, realistically, the likelihood would be that they expand Medicare first. Why? Because it's a lot easier. It'd be way easier and way cheaper for them to expand Medicare first, to include hearing, dental, and vision coverage first, and then after that, then say, look how easy this was. We got it done. We're taking care of seniors. We're taking care of older adults. We're taking care of people with disabilities. We're helping them out get all of these extra services, which again, would be great, right? This would be really, really good stuff for a lot of people. And then they can come back and say, look at this. Now look how much we're helping the people. Now we should consider Medicare for all. So again, just what they're talking about now. These are some of the ideas that are floated around out there. And in the balance is the $800 card, right? So I'll keep you posted on this, but want to give you a quick update on this. It's not all that often that we get a ton of updates on this, but every so often there are a few little things that come out, and I got to keep watching all this stuff closely, because if this is what they're talking about, of course, I want to keep you posted on everything going on. You never know. Sometimes Congress does surprise us every so often, right? We watch them all the time. It seems like they're doing absolutely nothing, and then sure enough, before you know it, they're voting on a bill, and it's like, wait, where'd this come from? It all of a sudden came out of nowhere, right? We've seen this happen a few times before, where we're just kind of hanging around waiting for them to do something, and all of a sudden, boom, we've got a bill and it's passed, right? So it's like, wow, things sometimes do happen relatively fast. Anyway, I'm watching it all closely for you. These are the updates that I have as of right now on this, but otherwise I'm watching everything else out there very closely. As I do get more details on anything, of course, I'll bring it to you right here in these short videos. So again, subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. And of course, feel free to share those with your friends, family, and social media as well. It's kind of funny. Sometimes when I'm talking, the words just don't come out, like what you just saw there a second ago. So it's kind of funny. Also, by the way, I pretty much don't edit the middle of my videos. Why? Because I want you to see the real me. I am not perfect, never have been, never will be. And sometimes, I stumble on my words. It's totally fine. It's how I am, really. And I want you to see the real me, which is why I don't edit my videos in the middle unless I really blow it. Then sometimes we have to cut out little pieces in the middle, but that doesn't happen all that often. Very, very rare that I do that. Most of the time, you see me completely unedited, and this is how it is. This is just me, just doing my thing, trying to bring you the information as quickly as possible, giving you the best information as fast as possible. And you can see, I'm certainly not a news anchor by any means at all, because their speech is perfectly, it's almost perfect. Mine, it's not, but I try to do my best. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. Enjoy your day, and I'll catch you again later.